So are we on? Okay. So, good afternoon to all of you. I welcome you to this press conference following today's General Affairs Council. The chair of today's council meeting, State Minister for Europe, Michael Roth, as well as Commission Vice President Maroš Šefčovič, will now brief you on the council proceedings. After the briefing, we'll have time for 4 to 5 questions, I reckon. Let me just highlight that we will have simultaneous translation into different languages available in the Zoom app and also in the live stream. And now, without further ado, State Minister Roth, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Ja, many thanks to Sebastian. Meine sehr verehrten Damen und Herren.
Ladies and gentlemen, today, for my colleagues, for myself, was quite an event. For the first time in February, there hadn't been any physical face-to-face meetings of the General Affairs Ministers of the European Union since then. We're back, and I have the impression that everybody was particularly pleased about that. Because, you know, however good video conferences might be, when it becomes really important, when we've got subjects aren't simple and are controversial, then it's best to get round the same table together, to look at each other in the eyes and to try to find solutions together. And that's what we're doing today on a number of very important subjects. I'd like to invite you to talk about some of those issues with me. It's very difficult to meet physically. It's because of the pandemic, which is not over yet. In July, the heads of state and government gave a clear signal that we want to get out of this crisis together in a spirit of solidarity with the next generation EU. We have made available a lot of money to help those regions, those people, those sectors of the economy which have suffered most from the pandemic, so we can support them. And today, again, there was a clear signal that these funds should flow as quickly as is possible to where they are needed. We've been negotiating already for pretty well 4 weeks now with the European Parliament. It's not that easy, the negotiations, but the German presidency takes the European Parliament very seriously as a negotiating partner. We have made some progress already, but it's important for us that this is a package. It has to stay together as a package. For us, it's also important that on the basis of the Council conclusions, we negotiate. The rule of law conditionality has an important role there, as today, indeed, in our discussions today. And it's clear, as a result of our discussions with the European Parliament, that on the basis of Council conclusions, we have to have something which is efficient and can work in practice as a mechanism, at the end of which it can be that on proposal of the Commission, the Council may decide that there may be cuts to funds to those member states where rule of law principles are being violated. But it's not just a question of the money. You know, a virus has no passport. A virus doesn't care about national borders. It's important that we coordinate better than we have done in the past. A lot of people have been asking, what are the politicians doing when they come to council meetings in Brussels? Well, what we've been doing today is to try and make life easier for people, in particular people who live in border regions, where you have the interests of small and medium-sized business at stake. We all know just how important the principles of Schengen, the internal market, are. And if there is a message which is going to get people to come along with us, then the message is, let's not go back to a situation pre-Schengen without borders. This Europe is in favour of free movement. At the same time, we have to make sure that our citizens are protected from the virus. As the Council presidency, we have put forward a very ambitious proposal as to how we can have better coordination. And I was very pleased myself to see that in the Council we saw that delegations were forthcoming on that, and soon we should be able to issue recommendations for member states who, of course, retain their competences but we have decided that we should bring into being some Council recommendations to make a contribution to everybody being able to feel that we're all pulling in the same direction and that we're all working together on the basis of similar data, that we are communicating similar things and that we have similar protection standards which hold in all EU member states. Whilst it is true that obviously the pandemic develops in different ways in different countries. We've also spoken today about the future relations between the UK and the EU. You can all imagine that we are concerned about the unsatisfactory state of negotiation of the UK at present. We only have a few weeks left ahead of us. Today, again, a clear signal of support for our chief negotiator, Michel Barnier, and his team, and also for Maroš Šefčovič, has an important role in the Commission in respect of this, in this difficult negotiation process. We're all standing together. We won't allow ourselves to be divided, and we're certainly right up behind Ireland. And for that reason, the proposals from London, which call into question, basically, the divorce or treaty or withdrawal agreement, these proposals are quite unacceptable. We can only appeal to the UK to return to the negotiating table on the basis of the political declaration, which we adopted together, having discussed together. That is the basis on which to negotiate. And we give a signal that we want to have the closest kind of relationship as possible with the UK in the future. We're working hard to achieve that objective, but you have to stop playing around at some stage. We need some serious discussions. And again, all member states stand together on this difficult question. I was saying something just now about rule of law. It was our intention in the spring, in the light of recent developments at that stage, to see how things stood with a situation on rule of law in Poland and Hungary. The Article 7 procedure is underway today on the basis of extensive reports from the Commission on the situation in Hungary, on the situation in Poland. We have had to note that the conditions to put an end to the Article 7 procedure are still not met, and that the Article 7 procedure therefore must continue. Again, that took up quite a bit of time, and we had a constructive discussion today, notwithstanding difficult circumstances of these times, as you all know, and in the Council presidency we know we can still count on support from Member States.
Mr. State Minister, now the floor is yours, Mr. Vice President.